Hello everyone, this is Taryn with Wonderfully Made Handcrafting, and today I'm working on day 14 of ByTheWell4God's Trusting a Good God. Now day 14 is the last day of the study, but does not mean that I'm completely done with this study yet. I tend to jump around in my devotions because I want to make sure to hit all the high points basically, or devotional days that really were meaningful to me. And so day 14 is one of those days. So I decided let's just jump in and journal it. So I am journaling in 1 Chronicles 16:34 today, which says, "Oh, give thanks to the Lord, for he is good, for his steadfast love endures forever." And Judy is kind of wrapping up this whole devotional, and she says, the main takeaway I'm praying you will grasp is that God is trustworthy because he is good in his very nature. It is a part of his character, and he cannot be otherwise. There was this really meaningful quote that Judy also included by Elizabeth Elliot, and I've included that in this journaling page. That's basically going to be my focal point of this cluster. And Elizabeth Elliot wrote, "God never withholds from his child that which his love and wisdom call good. God's refusals are always merciful, severe mercies at times, but mercies all the same. God never denies us our heart's desire except to give us something better." And that middle section of the quote is what really stuck out to me. God's refusals are always merciful, severe mercies at times, but mercies all the same. And so I really wanted to include that. That is kind of what drew me to this quote. I feel like I should make a sign for my house just so I'm constantly reminded of that. But anyways, as I'm doing this crafting, I did decide to make a bunch of layers. I had this paper, the rusty floral paper, I absolutely love. And so I've been waiting to use it in one of these pages. And I wanted to do something a little different as well. So I took one of the dyed book pages I have. I did a whole video on this. I'll try to link it down below. But I took one of those pages, and you saw on the back side, I had a cutout of it already. But no worries, because I just layered it on top. And I'm just looking at adding the most texture as possible to this Bible journaling page. So I am breaking out everything. I have this Tim Holtz lace die that I decided to break out, and I just had a little piece of paper that's been living in one of my desk drawers. So I decided it looked pretty similar to the colors in the greens that I had going on in this paper, so I decided to use it. I ran it through my Big Shot machine, and now I'm taking some time to punch out all those little holes. It goes faster than you would think, but I did speed up this process some. So anyways, I have that lace die, and then I also have that little book spine that's right under that quote that is from A House of Books. They have these wonderful little bags of book spine pieces, and so I decided to add that. I really love the webbing of that, and I'm going through my ephemera booklet and trying to see if I can add another layering pieces, but these are all looking wrong until this piece right here. This had that perfect color scheme that I had going on with the dyed book page in the background, and I also had that little circular piece as well. I've had a lot of questions on this ephemera booklet. I think it's absolutely worth it. Yes, it does take some time to add all your ephemeras and dye pieces to this booklet, but I think it's worth it, because otherwise I would definitely not be using all these pieces because you can't see them in the little baggies that they come with. So I'm just kind of testing things out, and I can put them right back in the book because it's not a permanent glue. It's one of those little snail glues, and it's, just the semi-permanent kind. So that helps a lot. And now we're getting back to putting this cluster all together. So as I start layering these pieces, I want to make sure that each one of them are distressed around the edges. That means using that paper distresser from Tim Holtz, and also adding a little bit of frayed burlap around the edges. You know me, I don't like things laying flat, so the more texture in a page possible, the better. So I'm starting to glue everything down. I am running out of my Barely Arts glue. Luckily, I have a backup. However, I do just like to get the last drop, so you'll see me here struggle a little bit with that glue. I momentarily thought about adding lace on top of that book spine as well, but the lace just seemed off because it was very white. I could have dyed it with some antique linen and it would have worked well, but I already had a lot of stuff going on, so I decided to just skip it this time. So I add some tiny attacher staples because I want to make sure that everything is nice and tight in that cluster, and I'm going to hide those staples under this little circular ephemera piece. I am going to put that ephemera piece on some foam tape, but before then I am going to add my date. So I add February 11th, 2023, but I know that that year is going to be covered up with that extra curator snippet. That's just another little ephemera piece from Tim Holtz. But no worries, because I will also add my date stamp to the opposite page with the verses and all. So I've added my foam tape. I'm going to peel that off, and then we're going to start working on a little extra piece that I wasn't expecting to add to this cluster. I really loved this darker paper, but I haven't had a chance to work with it yet. And so I decided to use this little extra paper flashcard that came in that word card set. It is actually the opposite side of the barcode, and I love it because ByTheWell4God does this, number one, so that we can use those extra pieces, but also I love that they shrink the pattern down so you can see all those florals and whatnot in this little piece of paper. So I've made a tab, and I'm just gonna spell out mercy with the tile alphas in this nice gray color, and using this gray color reminds me of the new Lost Shadow color from Tim Holtz, and that definitely makes me want to use that color in the background of this page. Now, with the interleaved journaling Bible, I still like to color the background, even if it's just a light dusting. I don't like seeing those words come through the page. I don't know why, it just bothers me a little bit. And so I usually put some mint tape in the gutter that will protect the verse side of the Bible. And I'm just putting a light dusting of that Lost Shadow down. Now, as you can still see the words coming through, but once I add texture in, it'll be a lot more difficult to see that. So I grabbed the Boho Lash Stencil from ByTheWell4God. This was just released this month. As you can see, I did have some brown still on this blending brush. That's okay with me because I actually really enjoy the color variation. So you'll see it kind of starts off brown, and then we go into that new Lost Shadow color. And I'm just making some texture all around the back of this page, and then we'll work on putting this cluster down. Now, like I said before, I am running out of my Barely Arts glue, but I do like to use every last bit possible, and so I'm really trying here to squeeze that glue out. It's not coming out, so just open up the top and use my fingers. So I'll just spread that down and slap it on the page, and then this Bible journaling process will be complete. If you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to my channel. You can also follow me over on Instagram at Wonderfully Made Handcrafting. I'll try to leave everything I use down below in the description. And I hope you have a wonderful day, guys. Bye.